Hey Mark, I hope you're doing well. This is the demo for Tank Wars. So, I've been working away at this. It uses some of the same system as my sniper game, but it is totally different in terms of you are the crew of a Sherman 75mm tank, and you're going to work your way through these zones. You're going to be attacked by enemies, but you've got to manage your crew. So over here, just ignore that there's 3 of them. These are damage boxes here, okay? So if you take a certain amount of damage and you go over into the red, your tank's destroyed. And then we've got 3 red boxes for critical damage. And then we've got a box for our commander, our gunner, our loader, our driver, and they can get wounded as well. So I'll just take you through how it works. So the first thing we do is draw 5 cards from our action deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a blank card. We have a commander card that allows us to do 2 actions. We've got an engineer card. He can repair minor damage. We've got a driver. Obviously he can move if we have the correct morale to do so. And another driver card. So the first thing we do is check that there's no enemy patrols in the first zone. So we draw a number counter and it's a 3, so it doesn't match. If it did match, then a Panzerfaust team would attack our tank, but we're fine. So the next thing we do is draw an enemy card. So we draw and we have a Panther. Now the 8 is their armor rating and the 7 is their side armor rating. So we put that in the enemy card box and we get a Panther token or counter, and they come in at long range in the first zone. Now, as soon as the tank comes in, he's going to attack us, but we have to see what location we're in, and unfortunately we're in open ground, so we've got no cover whatsoever, so they're going to secure hits on us on a 4+. So enemy tanks always roll 3 dice. So the Panther's attacking us and he needs 4+. And he secures a hit. It's not 2 hits, you just have to get 1 4. So he secured a hit on us, and that hit is 1 point of damage on our tank. So we put that on the track there. I've just put a little dice. So we've got 1 damage. But if we look in our hand of cards, we can use the engineer card to repair that damage, but you can never use an engineer card in the same turn that you've been hit. So we've done that. Now we want to try and engage the tank. So let's see what we have. I'm going to play the commander card, which gives me 2 actions. So that will allow me to fire and then reload. So first of all, I have to check. We automatically assume that the tank is acquired because the tank's fired at us. We know where they are. So we have to see if they're a moving or stationary target. So on a 4+, it will be a non-moving target. But we rolled a 2, so the Panther is moving. So that adds a modifier. So his base is an 8 because of his armor, and then it's a +2 for long range. So that's 8, 9, 10, plus 1 more for moving, which is 11. So we need an 11 on 2d6, and we roll this d10. If we roll a 0 on the d10, then our gun is jammed. So we need an 11. Close, we got a 10. So we missed the first shot. Now a fire card or a command action lets us fire twice. So we need an 11, and we've missed. So as soon as we miss a shot, the enemy tank moves up to medium range and then fires. So remember, he only needs 4s because we're in open ground. And he secured another hit on us. So I moved that up to the 2nd damage box. So not too good. Now I look through my hand of cards and we need to reload the shell, but we don't have a loader card, but I can discard 4 cards to do that. So I've discarded my 4 cards, we've reloaded, but I've got no cards left in my hand now. So the next part is to roll 2d6. If we get double 6s, we gain morale. and we don't. If we rolled a double 6, we gain 15 morale points. And remember, morale is what we need to get into the zones. So that's the end of that phase. I then draw up 5 cards again. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I look at my hand. This time we've got a gunner, a loader, an engineer, 2 engineer cards, and a loader. So I'm going to play, you can only play 1 engineer card. You can't play both of these. So I'm going to play that to repair the damage. So we brought the damage back down by 1. So it was on the second box, it's now on the first box. So you really have to manage that minor damage. So now, because we reloaded, I can play a gunner card, which lets me engage the enemy. So again, we're going to check if he's a moving target. He is stationary because it's 4+. So now we take his armor, an 8. He's at medium range, so a +1, a 9, and there's no other modifiers, so we need a 9. That's a miss. Remember, a gunner card, a fire card lets you have 2 shots. And that's another miss, so the tank moves to short range. And this is where the tension builds in with the game, that the tank's getting closer and closer. So now the tank opens fire again, needing 4s because we're in open ground, and he definitely gets a hit on us that time. So we're up to the second damage box. I'm going to play a loader card to reload a shell, but unfortunately I don't have any other cards to help me, so I discard these. I go to the radio check to see if we get morale. We didn't roll a double 6, so we don't. So again, I draw my 5 cards and check for enemy patrol. That's what I didn't do last time. Check for enemy patrol. That's zone 3, so we're fine. Now, let's say I've got 2 blank cards here. Blank cards let you, 2 blank cards let you form a fire card or a load card. So we're going to use that as a fire card. Now the Panther is at short range this time, but we still have to see if he's stationary or not. So he's a moving target. So his armor of 8, and he is moving, which puts it to 9. So we need a 9. That's a 6. We're not doing very well. There you go, finally. We destroyed the Panther. That gives us 5 morale points. So we put 5 on here. In the final game there'll be a track for it, but 5 morale points, 10 more morale points, and we can move into this zone. Now, if we hadn't destroyed that tank and we missed 2 shots there, he's eventually going to move into our box and perform a flank shot. Now, if he scores a 6, which we didn't, let's just say we did, then that applies a critical damage result. Now, a critical damage result, you roll to see if one of the crew members have been wounded or the tank. So we roll, and on a 4, that means our loader has been wounded. Each crew member can take 2 wounds. After that, they're killed, and if they're killed, if our loader was killed, we'd have to use 2 load cards to load a shell. If our gunner was killed, we'd have to use 2 cards, 2 gunner cards, etc. So you really don't want your crew being injured. And then this guy would be discarded and removed. Anytime an enemy tank is not in play, you have to redraw. So this time we've got a Stug G. So we do that. We look for the counter. If I can find it somewhere here. There we go. So a Stug. He would come in, long range, and open fire. So let's just say, for instance, we've now got enough morale to move into that zone. And we're going to play a driver card, so we can activate the driver to move into that zone. Let's say we got 20 points of morale, okay? So the driver is going to move into this zone, but we have to see if this tank has us acquired. So we roll a dice. On a 4+, he has us acquired, and he will jump into our box and perform a flanking shot, and on 6s it will cause a critical wound, and then we'd roll to see if it's the tank or the crew, and then he's removed. Now when we move into a new location, we've moved into zone 2, we flip this card, or they could be counters, doesn't matter. City Ruins, so we've got a +2 modifier, so it's a base of 4, so now tanks need a 6 to hit us. But it says mechanical failure, so we have a mechanical failure on our tank. And if we have an engineer card in our hand of cards, we can use it to ignore it. Otherwise, we take another point of damage. And at this point, I don't have it in my hand of cards, so we're up to 3 damage. So, play continues like this, and the goal is to get to the last zone and destroy an enemy in the last zone, and you have secured victory. But it is this real struggle of engaging enemies and getting as much morale points as you can to move up, which is more difficult than it sounds. So for instance, if we moved into this next zone here, and we flip the card, again it's City Ruins, but we encounter a pack 40. So a pack 40 would fire at us, needing 6s, and if they scored a 6, that would cause a critical wound. So that is how the game works, as I nearly dropped my camera. Okay, so and if you have critical damage, you can use a fire extinguisher to remove 1 critical damage on the tank, not on the crew, on the tank. So that is the basics of the game. You're working through the zones, getting as much morale as you can. And then you're going to earn, for each successful mission, you're going to earn experience points, and then you can upgrade your tank. So you could go to a Sherman 76mm, or you could get an M10 tank destroyer. So I hope you like this. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thanks a lot.